Good evening and welcome to United Therapy Army. How are we doing? How was your evening? How was your night? Wherever you are, morning, could be an afternoon, could be an evening. But welcome, people. Welcome to United Real Therapy. Here we go. People are already here. Never can erase history. Always a legend for me. Right. Some people are getting in their thing. CR7 has ruined his football legacy. You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Wow, Harvey Dent. That's a famous quote, isn't it? Hey, big up Meshdi. Yeah. Mundo, welcome. How's your evening? How are the rascals?
One of them's come down ill. The other one's okay.
Big hugs. I hope they're going to be all right. They got a cold.
The time of the year.
Oh, that time of the year, innit? That time in school, man. That time of school. That time of the year. Big up to every one of you people. Smash a like on the video. Welcome to United Real Therapy. Therapy Army, where are ya? They're saying the club is in crisis. The club have been in crisis for 17 years. Fergie papered over every crap, people. And when Fergie left, Man United became that comedy special. Before there was even Netflix, there was Man United comedy, series after a series after a series. We are the greatest tragic show ever due to the Glazers. But the question we're asking tonight, people, is that has Cristiano Ronaldo ruined his legacy? That's the question, Mundo. That's the question. Has Ronaldo ruined his legacy?
I don't think so. I think, obviously, this will leave a bad taste in everyone's mouth at Manchester United. But his fan base is far wider than Manchester United. So all of the other Ronaldo standboys, including the Man United ones, they won't give a damn about what's happened. They'll still revere him. They'll still put him on the pedestal. I mean, you can't take away his achievements in the game. You know, there's other players who, you know, Zidane got sent off. Final game was headbutting Materazzi, wasn't it? So, you know, but you can't. That's not going to diminish what he achieved in the game. So, this is a sorry state of affairs. It's a horrible way for the relationship to end with the club. But in reality, I mean, now the dust has settled. You know, everyone over the last few days has been spitting feathers and kicking off. But in reality, we'll move on, you know. He needs to move on. The club needs to move on. He's still got his legacy. No one outside of Manchester United really gives a damn about this episode. So I think it is what it is. As far as I'm concerned on a personal level, his legacy is more Real Madrid anyway than Manchester United.
True.
He's achieved a lot at Manchester United, don't get me wrong. In those 5 years, he was unbelievable. You know, won the Ballon d'Or, 3 leagues, Champions League, won every trophy he could win possible. Scored 40 goals, got us to, you know, 2 consecutive Champions League finals. Not just him, obviously, because the team was one of our best ever teams, but he was an integral part. But all of his records and everything that he's achieved, majority of it was achieved at Real Madrid. So I think United fans have put him on a pedestal. You know, the way that he left the club the first time wasn't ideal.
He used to word, remember, slave.
Yeah. He came up with an interview claiming that he was being held captive like a slave. And that was when Fergie was there. And I'm surprised that Fergie kept him after that, because if it was anybody else, they would have been out of the door.
Fergie wanted one more league title, Mundo.
Yeah, he wanted one more.
He wanted the Champions League and a league title, didn't he?
Yeah, so he hung on to him. But nobody else would have gotten away with that. Nobody else.
To be fair, Fergie did. That's one of the genius about Fergie, isn't it? That he understood certain mavericks and certain, like, arrogant. But as long as they were doing it on the football pitch, he would break the rules for them. Do you know what I mean? He would.
If he could control it, is when he couldn't control it that he got rid. So with Beckham, for example,
yeah,
like his status got too big. Fergie just couldn't control it anymore. Roy Keane just became uncontrollable at the point they got rid of him because I think there's probably more to that story than we know that we're going on behind the scenes. And Roy Keane has spoken very, very scathingly of Ferguson since he's left the club and continues to do so. So that relationship was probably broken even before Keane was kicked out.
I think that was the one for me. That's the one that left a really bitter taste in my mouth. Because Roy Keane was such a great captain. I would have let him speak. I would have kept him. I would have done him a testimonial, proper testimonial. I would have done him. He would have retired for me. He would have retired at Man United.
Yeah, that was a strange one, but I just think it was just a clash of egos and neither party went into background.
I think Fergie did him dirty, me personally.
Yeah, and the Stam one I would never understand.
We came back from the rave in London. Do you remember? We came back from the rave in London. We picked up the newspaper, and I remember reading Stam, shock, Stam, move, sold, Man United, and I was like, honestly, it's like my world was like, it's like an earthquake. It hit me like an earthquake. I had to like grab the sink. I was like a bit dizzy, obviously because of lack of sleep and everything.
And they sold him to Lazio for like peanuts. We paid almost 30 million for him, and he sold him for 60 million. At the time, he was one of the best defenders in the world. It didn't make sense.
Top 2 defenders, top 3, I think. Yeah. Boumbaye, welcome. Welcome, Boumbaye. Yesterday you were missed. A lot of people were asking for you in the comments. So I did the show early. Obviously, you both couldn't make it yesterday. Ronaldo, has he ruined his legacy at Man United? Boumbaye, are you there?
Yes, boys. Yes. Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, everybody. Has Cristiano Ronaldo... Well, this show maybe is just a little bit early. Might have been good if we'd held out and till tomorrow and Thursday and watched the interview to get an idea if something's been saying as a joke or... There's some things that have come out that I'm not sure the jest in which they're implied. Has he tarnished his legacy? I think it's fair if people think so. But I don't think this has burnt all the bridges. Ultimately, we have in our history, in our folklore, in some of our greatest moments, Champions League, an amazing player. Maybe the best player that's ever played in the Premier League. One of the greatest players, I think. I wouldn't say the best, but one of the best players that's played the game, especially for longevity and goals scored and where he's done it. But I really a little bit taken aback. But I think things have been building up and culminating. And like you guys were saying, Stam and Van Nistelrooy and Roy Keane and David Beckham, anything that infringes on the manager's control, undermines the manager, effectively ends a player's career. Most of the time, not all the time. And I think this is the parting shot. And things have become such that Cristiano Ronaldo feels he needs to force his way out of Manchester United because he does not see any sort of future at Manchester United, and the environment has become untenable. Part of me thinks, you know what, this blister has been building and somebody had to pop it. And it's actually not all bad. It's good that it's happened because now he's effectively ended his time at Manchester United. I hope he gets to go somewhere that suits him. I still love Ronnie. Do you know what I mean? I think Ronnie's is a great player. This does somewhat sully things. It's not the perfect ending, but I think I'll know more when I listen because this is a 90-minute interview. So right now, I'm going to wait to listen, but to me, Ronaldo is still Ronaldo. And if we were losing Ronaldo in his prime and he did this, I'd have a much more problem. But we're just going to lose him 6 months early, and it's probably for the best. For him, for Eric Ten Hag, who's had to deal with so much additional questioning and pressure about Ronaldo since he took this job, that will hopefully end. And we can just get on with the most important thing, which is continuing on the road to recovery with Eric Ten Hag. Because yes, as much as Ronaldo is, you know, the prodigal son that came back, it's not the fairy tale ending that we all would have wanted. But Manchester United is more important than any one player. And for me, Khalas, what's done is done, and we move on. That's pretty much where I am with it.
Yeah, big up. I asked a question. It's not a clickbait kind of question because there are seriously people who are genuinely upset. There are people who are upset amongst our fan base. They're really upset. By the way, Vicky, this is a wild take. Nuruddin, Ten Hag not good enough. I don't know where you get that from. You must be a Ronaldo stan, mate. You must be in the Ronaldo stan. Honestly.
Let me tell you one thing, right? And it's been said. I was just going to say, in response to this guy here, and it's been said publicly already by people who have bigger platforms than me, Ten Hag has actually handled the situation brilliantly, right? He has. He's guided the team through difficult times with all of this rumbling on in the background. And he's debunked what Ronaldo has said about him not respecting him, because he's played him in 4 consecutive games. He's given him the captain's armband. After he's disciplined him, which he had no choice, he had to discipline him.
It was only for one game as well. And
for one game, they brought him back into the fold. He's also always spoken very positively about Ronaldo from day dot. Hasn't had a bad word to say against him. Everything's been kept in-house. We haven't seen leaks about, obviously there has been some briefing against Ronaldo, but generally speaking, in comparison to last season, there would have been a shitload of leaks coming out of the dressing room about Ronaldo and this, that, and the other, and players falling out. There's been none of that. We don't even know how the players reacted to Ronaldo.
We saw the Bruno. Did either of you see the Bruno clip?
Yeah.
I didn't see or heard about it.
So basically,
but even after the Tottenham incident, or last season, if that had happened, there would have been loads of stuff coming out from the dressing room, from the players' reactions and blah. This guy's backing Ronaldo. This guy's against Ronaldo. There's been none of that. So hats off to the manager, because he's managed the situation perfectly. And actually now, he's put us in a position which the majority of sane, non-Ronaldo cultist Manchester United fans have wanted, which is we don't want Ronaldo in our team. And not because we've got issues against Ronaldo personally, but because we've seen how the team has performed without Ronaldo. And Ronaldo, because of the way we want to play, has become a hindrance rather than an asset. He's no longer an asset for Manchester United. It doesn't improve the team. It does not. And people can say, he'll still score goals, this and that. But what you've got to understand is what he brings to the team is at the detriment of the team, because it's all about Ronaldo. His ego demands it. So if he's like this off the pitch, you've seen what he's like on the pitch with his ego. Everyone's got to play for Ronaldo. And that's not how our team wants to play moving forward. So I, for one, I'm glad that he was the one who, because I don't think the club would have done anything. He would have just allowed the situation to rumble on. And Ten Hag would have been left in this difficult position, because Ten Hag, when Martial and Rashford are fit, wants to play them as his number 9s at the moment above Ronaldo. And Ronaldo was never going to accept that. Never. So this could not have continued for the entire season, because it would have just derailed us completely. So I'm glad it's happened now. It's reached that point where it's all broken down. Ronaldo has to be moved on. The thing I'm disappointed about is the club's inaction at the moment. They've done nothing. I get that they need to look at, because they're probably looking at ways of getting rid of him without it costing them any money, which that's not going to happen. They're going to have to, there's going to be some financial outlay somehow to get rid of him. Just pay the money and just get rid.
I think, to be fair to them, I'm not here to defend the Glazers, innit? I'm not here to defend the Glazers, but as a football club, they have to wait and see and watch the full 90 minutes, innit? Because that's what the program is called. By the way, those of you who want to, I'm not doing the first ever watch along. It's going to be on a Ronaldo documentary watch along. I'll be here live tomorrow. If any of you guys want to join me, doing a watch along of the show. I'll have it
What
here.
time is it on? At 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, or 10 o'clock?
I don't know what time it's on. Yeah, around. I think it could be at 8 or 10, whatever. I think it might be on at 10 o'clock. I'll be here live, and we'll be doing a watch along together because I really want to hear people's instant comments about what's going on. I think a lot of you have just said it. You can't undo what he did on the pitch. He will always be a United legend. If you choose not to respect him, that's up to you. I think that is it. It's always up to the individuals. I agree with the chosen one here when he says, you know what, look at the player. He compares it to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. For me, my love for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as a footballer is there. He gave us the greatest moment in our history. Like that header. Sorry, that flick with the leg. That is like, honestly, goosebumps. Goosebumps, people. I'm getting goosebumps. Like, anytime I think about that moment, I think goosebumps. Mundo will tell you, Mundo was right next to me. He was sat right next to me. To let the people know, Mundo, just let the people know. Better story time. What did I do? First of all, what did you do the first goal? You jumped up. I didn't celebrate because I saw Sheringham looking towards the linesman and I thought it's offside. I was like, it's offside, right? Let me just set the scene for you people. We're in a house. There's about 15 of us, right? It's like our family's house, friends, family, when you merge. We're in a house. We're in a house with the biggest ABUs. What I mean by ABUs is anybody but Man United. Like the originals who hate Man United because Man United were winning. You know what? I miss those days. I really miss those days when we were really hated.
Now we're insignificant. No one cares about us anymore. Right, that's the fault.
But anyway.
Nah, boys, you know what? I was talking yesterday with one of the leaders of the ABU. We're fifth. And just because City lost, and I walked in to his place and said to him, what happened to the Messiah? He can't walk on water. Brentford popped him. Bro, the wrath was heavy. So God knows what I'm going to expect if we actually get top four and do so. He went nuts, lad. Nuts. I started laughing. I swear. I swear down. I just walked in, gave him the usual, your boy got popped, yeah. He lost his shit completely.
Boy, how could that be his boy? He's an Arsenal fan. How could that be his boy? Anyway.
No, but I'm telling you, these guys would not know what to do with themselves without the presence of Man U. Like, I don't even know what's going to happen. I hope we stay friends if we get just top four. Forget the league and Champions League.
Honestly, listen, that's why my background, as you can see, is the trophies. I have to pray. And the reason why I got this is because I'm putting it out to the universe that the Glazers are going to sell. Man United will be owned by people who are competent to let Man United build and to challenge for a league title again. So that's why. But anyway, story time, people. So Mundo, I was sat next to you. You weren't with us 99. You weren't with us in that final, were you?
Bro, I can't really tell you much about where I was because you know how my story of how I came to become a proper Red is a bit murky, and it might be
you don't want to share that publicly, mate. That will be.
So, suffice to say, though,
listen,
I was.
Is that
Let's
put it that way. You were very much lubricated in some place watching that game. Let's just put it that way.
Nah, bro. I promise you. No, I was surrounded by Reds, man, everywhere. And when that second goal went in, there was no drink in me, but I went home like I'd had a shower in that shit.
That's what it was.
The place erupted, man. What a day.
It's crazy. So just tell the story. Me and Mundo, and for that, we were so superstitious. We had to sit next to each other throughout all the knockout games. And every game. And we all had to be in the room. We had to be in the room so that we can hear the music. If one of us missed the music, we're getting beat. Like, that's what it was. You know how mad superstitious we were. So anyway, a friend of us comes in. He was actually a professional cricket player. Muzza, big up Muzza. Muzza comes in, and we're just like that. And everybody in the house, I think there's 4 of us who are United fans. Everybody else wants United to lose. People are literally upstairs in the house, getting shirts out. They've just bought with the likes
Bayern Munich shirts.
Yeah, Bayern Munich shirts and everything out, like kit, to go and celebrate. Anyway, we're there, and we're like, so I basically, Solskjaer scores, I jump up, grab Mundo in the headlock, and then I run out. I run out barefooted out of the house. I run out back into a main road. I run straight down like 2-3 streets, and then I turn back. And at the same time I'm running, I can hear so many other people out of their houses screaming. As I'm running, I went Moss Lane East, I went all the way to Lloyd Street, cut back in again into Great Western Street, and then back into Playfair Street. And people were screaming, and I just, it was scenes. Anyway, it was scenes. So for me, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to this comment here to throw someone is an amazing thing. So I will never, as a manager, I thought he wasted our time. I genuinely thought. I thought he wasted our time a lot of the times. Like,
he's wasted. The first when he came as interim. I mean,
Ole interim was amazing. Gave us that
up to the end of the season, and that should have been it. But we all, we have to hold our hands up as a fan base.
We did.
We all bought into Ole's at the wheel, right?
Yes. But I sang that song like more than anybody else outside Old Trafford.
But you know what it is as well, bro?
At the wheel.
You know what it is? Sometimes part of the beauty of being a United fan, and for me anyway, it is the most romantic club in the world, and you have to dream, man. And when Ole came, everybody wants this to work. Everybody wants this to work, so you want to buy into it. You want to believe that it can happen, perhaps against your better judgment. But like the guys are saying in the comments, a couple of them, it's up to the individual. This interview can ruin everything for you, or you can just take it at face value and think, you know what? Look at it in a positive light. Hopefully this is the end of something that really could have got ugly and messy and dragged out and derailed us. And he's taken the initiative. He really can't stay there anymore. It's not working for him. So I think in this show, there are some hypothetical questions. There are some different ways of looking at certain things that have happened to try and get a bit of an insight into, okay, what has really prompted this guy to basically absolutely obliterate all bridges and know himself that the consequence of this interview is the cessation of him as a Man United player. That is severe. And I think this has been something that has been building and building and building. And myself, I'm always, well, you know what I'm like. I'm thinking,
you know what you're like, yeah.
Yeah, okay. You know what? I want it to work out. And I always believe there is a way to solve things, but this is effectively, there's no way. I can't even think of anything. And Ronnie knows that. So it's got to be quite a situation for him to just simply say, I am had enough now. I understand there's no way I can play again for the team. And I accept that this is untenable. And with just my point of view, my expectation and how I feel is no longer aligned at all with the manager and with the people who are in charge of this club. The second,
what I find hilarious, and I'm seeing some people put it in the comments as well right now. There are people out there who genuinely believe that Cristiano Ronaldo is bigger than Manchester United. What planet are you on? Cristiano Ronaldo's career is going to end. He's in the record books, I get it. But you're talking about a football club. There is no player bigger than a football club. Was Maradona. Maradona was never bigger than any football club. Pelé was not bigger than any football club. Lionel Messi is not bigger than any football club. Football clubs are football clubs. Real Madrid are steeped in history. They're a massive football club. Manchester United are steeped in history. They're a massive football club. Liverpool are steeped in history. Massive football.
The club will continue long after the player has done his and hung up his boots.
So why are people coming out with this BS? What are they talking about? There is no player on this planet bigger than those football clubs. They're not.
I think, bro, it's, because of the surprise that this came and how forceful this interview has come. It's dominated the whole bloody world news. We forgot anything else is happening. I'm at work today. Girls that don't like football are talking about watching the interview. Liverpool fans goes, I can't wait to watch the interview. I think early days, it's still fresh. There'll be some polarity. But once the dust is settled, everything does, it will calm down and we'll move forward. But
exactly.
Do you know what I mean? But the short answer, anyway, to the question, but I do think we can dissect things a little bit more and think give and take with it. Because some people do think Ronaldo is right in what he's saying. I've heard that. Some people are saying, no, it's not good what he did, but we're somewhere in the middle. There's some good shit that he's saying. We understand it, but ultimately the act itself is not good.
Let me ask you this, Ali Boumai. Let me ask you this question.
I'll say this one second, Mundo. Sean Thomas, can you send me a message on Twitter and I'll send you the link? Anyway, listen, I'm just going to play this quickly. This is Ronaldo talking about the passing of his young child. Can you hear him?
That time in your life is probably the worst moment that I passed through my life since my father died. When you have a kid, that you expect that everything will be normal, and you have that problem. It's hard, as human being that I am. Me and Georgina, why we had quite difficult moments because we don't understand why it happened to us. Was difficult, to be honest. Was very, very difficult to understand what's going on in that period of our life. As you know, the football carry on. They are so fast, many competitions. The football don't stop. We have many competitions. And pass through in that moment was probably the most difficult moment that I had in my life. Me and my family, especially Gio, that was tough.
It's such a difficult situation again, where you're mourning the terrible loss of your little baby boy, but also celebrating the birth of your beautiful daughter.
I try to explain sometimes to my family and even my close friends. I never felt to be happy and sad in the same moment.
Yes,
I never felt. It's hard to explain. So difficult. It's, you don't know if you cry or you don't know if you smile.
Yes.
Because it's something that you don't know how to react. You don't know what to do, to be honest.
There you go. So I just go ahead, Mundo.
No, the question I was going to ask Ali Boumai is still there?
Yeah, he's still there. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Go ahead, bro.
I was going to ask you, what is it? Because you've mentioned this, right? That there's something that set him off. What do you think that is? Do you think that it's that he's not playing? Because if he was in the team every single week, do you think he would be coming out with this bullshit? Or
I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you asked. This is now up to a point. My insight into this, and I think everybody's, I have to admit, up to a point has its limits. I'm not in Carrington. I'm not sure what's going on. But I think Ronaldo could have gone to City. But he didn't go to City because Ferguson said to him, you can't do that. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think Ferguson and I think some ex-players like
Okay.
Rio and stuff were on him, and Patrice Evra.
Yeah. Okay. So he comes to United, and I think he comes. There are advantages to Ronaldo. Shirt sales, for example, broke all records. You know, it was a nice financial windfall, I'd say, for the club. Do you agree with that?
Definitely.
Okay. All of a sudden, Ronaldo comes under the tenure of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who we know is not staying. Irrespective of whether Ole wanted him or not, he's there. I mean, that can be argued in itself. Did Ole want him or not? Was he a hindrance? Was he a plus? But he came. He had a good season. But I think there is a possibility, and I'm using words like think and possibility because I'm not certain, but this is what I think we need to look at. That Ronaldo now is caught in what was the tenure of Ole, then the tenure of somebody new like Ranić, who was also doomed, didn't know what he was doing, but found out about Man United. And now we've got a manager that has shown the Glazers, look, we are on the road to recovery. You guys have got some financial issues. You're saying there's no money to spend, and we're paying Ronaldo $500,000 a week. And I've shown you that we can deal with whatever's coming at us without him, and we are a better team without him. But Ronaldo was here before Erik ten Hag showed the Glazers this, so he's looking at the Glazers and whoever has made some promises to him and saying, yo, what's this? And they're ready to say, well, look, we think you've outstayed your welcome and we'd probably rather you go. They've not said it to him, but it sounds like that's what they're pushing for, and he feels it. And because they could do with saving 2 to 2.5 million a month on his wages. And whatever we're going to make in shirt sales, we've made. And we seem to be, for the first time in a long time, progressing without him. So I understand there is a possibility of why he would feel a betrayal, especially because last year, without these 24 goals, I'm not sure where Man United would have been. You know, he did have a very good season, considering how shit the team was. So I do think there is a possibility that there is something there. That's one point. And if you want to, you know, come back at me with what you think about what I'm saying, and you know, let's do that. And there's
I don't disagree.
And there's also after this one, bro. There's also after this as well, guys. I've listened to a few people. Some people are saying they're with Ronaldo, like Souness is very with Ronaldo in terms of communication of the club, in terms of his position within the dimension of Man United has been very unclear. And then Jermaine Ginas has seen things another way in terms of Erik ten Hag knows that Ronaldo is dispensable. He's not indispensable. He's dispensable. He is resigned to losing the player, whether it be in January or at the end of the year. It's not a player that he particularly is dying to keep. So he can make an example out of him and use him in order to get his house in order and tell every other player, not quite as big as Ronaldo, this is what happens when you mess with Erik ten Hag and my regime. So Ronaldo can be seen as a punching bag, which is what Jermaine Ginas has made the point. Again, I'm putting these things out there just to make this debate interesting, because I don't know, I can never know the intentions. That's just unfortunate. We can't know. We can only go off what we're looking at, but there are interesting angles to this thing. So I'll leave it there, and you can tell me, guys, you know, let's get into that if you want.
The biggest thing, but listen, by the way, big up all everybody in the chat. Yeah, I'll let Mundo come back in a second, but big up everybody in the chat. But let's keep it respectful. That's one thing I would say. At the end of the day, it's a matter of opinion. Has he ruined his legacy? To me, the trophies, the goals, the memories, they're always going to be there. It does leave a bitter taste in mouth when he goes in on Erik ten Hag. And if he was to go in on other younger players as well, because he's not like he's acting like And to be fair to Ronaldo, behind the scenes at Real Madrid, he was doing this. Behind the scenes, there are people who played with him. Like Colilini coming out at Juventus saying that at times he was making it all about himself. So for me, I don't mind. You have to have a certain level of arrogance to be able to achieve and have single-mindedness. Like, it has to be level of delusional. But for me, somebody should advise Ronaldo in how you handle the last quarter of his the last 10%, I would say 15% of his career. Do you know what I mean? It is the last 15% of his career. It is, whether we like it or not, guys. This is the downturn. That Ronaldo is gone. We see it. The physically, like the way he moves on the pitch, the way he is, all of that, it's not there as much. And I agree with you, Mundo. If he was banging in the goals, you won't be talking about the Glazers. But I'm glad he's talking about the Glazers. And for me, he is the most higher profile footballer in the world. Play for Man United, currently still contracts to Manchester United to come out against the Glazers. And for that, he didn't have to do that. Like you said, there are loads of United fans who love him, who absolutely love him, right? He can't do any wrong for them. But he didn't have to come out and stick it to the Glazers. He didn't. But I appreciate that as a parting gift. Go ahead, Mundo.
Yeah, I mean, so that's kind of a byproduct of what the interview, because we all know what the interview is about. The interview is about him trying to get out of the club. Be all and end all. Anyone who buys the narrative that he loves the club so much that he feels he needs to rescue us from the Glazers and all of this nonsense, it's cock and bull, right? His agenda is, the rationale, the reason he's done it is because he wants out. And he knows he has to go nuclear to get out. Because these fuckers, these Glazers, they would keep him at the club until his dying breath. If they could get money out of him, they would keep him there until he was in a Zimmer frame, right? We've seen it time and time again. We know the modus operandi. We know how they operate, these fuckers, right?
Chris, do you think he knows that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he knows that. He thinks they're never going to let me go. So the only way I'm going to get out is if I make it so toxic, yeah, that it's untenable. They have to get rid of me. And by going after the manager, so I don't necessarily think
it's
that
personal.
the relationship with the manager is as bad as it may appear. But I think he knows. He's been smart. He probably thinks, you know what? I have to go nuclear here.
By any means, I need to get out. By any means.
Yeah, by any means, and that means I've got to take down everybody, right?
It's you know what, Mundo? It's so interesting that you're talking about nuclear. And literally, World War III today was trending this evening, and on Twitter. Watch these.
When you start fucking with the Polish, right, which is what the Russians have now done, that is, yeah. So it's
by the way, Mundo's kids are part Polish, so let's not go there, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
Mundo's kids might be called up. Mundo, your kid might be called up for national service, mate.
And I know that no way, mate. They'll be slamming out the Jamaican passport, the fucking English passport, whatever passport they can find.
Not all Polish people are the same.
I'm going down to
right, and you got the left.
I'm going down to Russell Square tomorrow, mate, and every fucking embassy that my kids can be attached to that's not Polish, I'm joining that queue, mate. But anyway, all jokes aside, right, in terms of what Ali Bomei was saying, what's happened at the club internally, and obviously it's all speculation because we don't know, and we'll find out hopefully tomorrow.
Well, to be fair, the reason why I've done the show tonight is because to question the legacy aspect of it. In some people's eyes, they're so upset. They're like, we've just done that. We've just had that win. There are people who I spoke to today that they're literally like almost emotional, like because of what he's done. I'm listening to voice notes and people are telling me it's over. I don't care what he won us. The guy is ruined everything for us. We're just about to build a team. So, and then the other half are like, Ronaldo is still a legend. Ronaldo is still Ronaldo. And some people are even coming out against Everton Hag. I'm not lying to you. So that's why.
And that's where the fan base is lost the plot, because
that's why we've done the show, people. I'm not going to do a show on some fictitious thing to clickbait people. I've literally spoken to people, seen people on the street today, and they're literally saying, everybody's talking about it, by the way. It's crazy. I've been in spaces, been in cafes, been in shopping places. People are talking about Ronaldo. It's crazy. Like, to me, Man United is still relevant, but the fact that it's Ronaldo everywhere, it's everywhere. But Irfan, welcome, brother. Hope you're well. Let's hope it's not World War III. I do not trust these politicians in the world. I don't trust them. The military-industrial complex runs things in the world. Military-industrial things. Eisenhower, he was a general in the army, American president, and he warned the world, and especially Americans, about the industrial military complex. And I don't think the industrial military complex is everywhere. It's not just in America, it's in everywhere. But Irfan, on the football side, this is not to clickbait people. On your opinion solely.
Yo, before Irfan answers this, yeah. Before Irfan answers, Dino.
You know what's on BBC4 now? You know what's on BBC4 now?
What's on?
A really, really interesting program about Ronaldo's life. And it's a really top one. We're missing it now. That's why I was like, shit, do I watch this? The Gordon Show? I was trying to, honestly, it's so good. You should watch it. Zidane's on it. Ronaldo and like everyone's on it at the moment on BBC4.
Irfan is going to tell you that Ronaldo is still the Dom because he would have scored more goals if Irfan was in the team.
yeah. Exactly. No, I think Mundo nailed it. I think Mundo nailed it.
Let me ask the question, because I think there's two parts to this question. Has Ronaldo, in your opinion, tainted his legacy at United or ruined his legacy?
What do you mean? That's the same thing. Sorry. Tainted it or ruined it? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Tainted is a lesser, isn't it?
Yeah. Listen. Right. You know how it works, right? Let's just use the political angle. You know. You get bad news like this. Politicians have to deal with shit like this all the time. But you know what they know? That people forget after a couple of months, 6 months. They forget. They forget this shit. So that's why they're not worried. His PR team are thinking, listen, you might get some shit from some people now, but in 6 months' time, they'll keep watching your goals on YouTube. They look at all the titles you won. You look at all the plaudits you got from everyone. They're not gonna remember. Who remembers when Roy Keane kicked off with Ferguson? Does anybody remember that? Did they fuck? They just remember the guy was a god leader for us. That's what I'm saying. So this doesn't mean anything. But like I said, Mundo nailed it. But just a few little more things to it, right? Look, at the end of the day, he's a human being, okay? And you know he had the biggest ego. And you said, Nuruddin, the biggest egos, you know, that's what it takes to become the best, right? But this has been carefully calculated, right? To work out everything, to go so far so that he can think, right, you can let me out, because it's not working for him at all. And this is obvious. This was a case of like, I'm going to throw everything at United, right? I'm going to disrespect every single person, so they have to let me go. Because like you said, the fact he's got how many likes, how many followers on Instagram is it?
Half a billion.
So I mean, no, that is more than all the Premier League teams put together. So do you understand? Do you understand why?
Yeah, that's to put together the top leagues.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But so why would the Glazers want to get rid of that? They've got one of the most famous sporting commodities. Even though he's washed out, they still want to keep that. That's like he said, they're a marketing club. They're a club about how do we keep the financial success going outside the pitch, not on the pitch, outside the pitch. So this is it. So it all makes sense. He just went the extra level. Like he could have done it in a more sort of lightweight way, but he called the Glazers out. Let's be honest, Nuruddin, he called them out.
Yeah, and you know what? And that's why I got to big him up. We did the show last night. That's why I've got to big him up.
Have you heard a guy playing for United?
Yeah, and I'll say this quickly. He didn't have to. He didn't have to, because those who love him already. But he didn't have to. But go ahead, Irfan.
What do you mean he didn't have to?
He didn't have to call out the Glazers.
Yeah, that's right. He didn't have to, because remember, this is the first guy that we know of with any significant clout who's called the Glazers out while he's playing for the team. It's supposed to be the first guy. Has any other player called Glazers out? Right. I don't remember. No one.
By the way, Andreas Herrera, right?
Yeah.
Like there was an Instagram. Somebody did an Instagram thing about what Ronaldo said on a meme, and Andreas Herrera liked it.
Yeah.
Well, he said about the Glazers don't care.
Well, whoever's got his account, you know, you don't necessarily mean it's him.
No. Andreas Herrera runs his own account. He does.
Well, you know, but that's what I'm saying. Look, they will not let him go. So imagine, like I said yesterday, if you're with George Mendes or whatever, you got to think, how am I going to get out of this? You got to be so extreme. You've got to cuss every single person. I mean, I didn't really get the Ten Hag one. When I think about the cussing Ten Hag, that's a difficult one for me because he's been so respectful and so gentlemanly towards you, right? Even when you've been playing crap, he's still been giving you love. He's still been massaging your shoulders, even made you captain at Aston Villa. You've been missing chance after chance, and he's still trying to persevere with you. He's still trying it. So nothing beyond Ten Hag, right? But I think you're right. Again, he had to even slap Ten Hag because I think Nuruddin's right as well. I think they have a more of a decent, respectful relationship. I don't think it's like, oh, I hate you, bastard. You don't play me. I don't think it's one of that. I think he respects Ten Hag. But like I said, he has to do this because it's his final chance to try and get out of the club. He's got nothing left. And that's all I see. But he has definitely only tainted his legacy. He's not ruined it. Because you think politicians, the shit that they pull, right, that's so dark and people forget about it in 3 months' time. And that's...
Forget about that. Listen to me. Matt Hancock, it literally was...
There you go. You just nailed it. A perfect example. Matt Hancock.
His decisions literally killed grandmas and granddads. Literally.
And you couldn't go and see them. You couldn't go to the funeral.
Yeah, people couldn't go to the funeral. People couldn't hug each other while he was hugging on a batty.
Yeah, he was lipsing up his gal. Lipsing up his gal. And
yeah, it was.
And everybody else is mourning their families and can't go to funerals.
That's it. And now he has the goal to go on the reality TV show and so ask for forgiveness. Let me see the real me.
And that's why to me, I understand the people who are emotional. I think the United fans who are emotional and are hating Ronaldo now because of what he said about Ten Hag, right? Yeah. But when you think about it, he's not killed anybody. You know, I used to do a job, honestly, people. And the job at the end of the night was nobody's died.
Yeah, but you know, even beyond that though.
Whatever's gone wrong, we used to tear out and go, nobody's died.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Nobody's died. But listen, beyond that though, Nuruddin, I'm actually cutting him some slack because I actually think that I don't actually believe what he says. I don't believe it. I just believe it's a ruse now just to get out. I don't actually think he means it. I don't think he means it. But he's so desperate to get out that he has to slap everyone and disrespect everyone. But I don't believe he actually means what he said. I don't believe it.
Big up Sean Thomas. How you doing, brother?
Hey guys, how's everyone doing, man?
Yeah, you doing well? Looks like it's sunny where you are, brother. Sunny California, yay.
Yeah, sunny California, yeah.
Oh man. Shit, wouldn't we all like to be in California, right now, hey? Wouldn't we like to be there? Shit.
We're all jealous right now, brother.
No, I mean the downside is, sometimes I have to get up at 3 a.m. to watch, United play bullshit, or I have to get up early in the morning to see the nonsense that Ronaldo is saying. But yeah.
Talk to us, brother. Talk to us. What has Ronaldo tainted? Has he ruined his legacy at Manchester United?
For me personally, yes, he has. I don't think there's no coming back.
Wait, bro, which one? Tainted or ruined? Which one?
Ruined. For me personally. Wow, okay. For me personally, he has. I always wanted to support Ronaldo from far. I'm in the minority, the 10% of United fans that didn't want him to come back in the first place, because I could see this coming. This is the same reason why he left Madrid. This is the same reason why he left Juventus, and now he has come to United. I don't buy for a second that City wanted him, and I don't think it's a positive that he chose us over City. The very fact that he considered going there, to me, because Ronaldo doesn't care about me as a United fan. He doesn't give a shit about any of us. He doesn't give a shit about about the club, about the Glazers, anything like that. He doesn't care about the club. So, for me, his legacy was always had an asterisk, because he played here for a short period of time. He became the world beater that he is right now in Madrid and in Juventus, not at United. United was a stepping stone for him, but that wasn't where he became a legend. So as far as I'm concerned,
I think I disagree. Just to kick back at one point you made. I don't think he's a legend at Juventus. He's more of a legend at United, but I understand more. He made his name at Madrid, but at United, he was part of a fantastic team that won 3 league titles back to back, and also win the Champions League. And he's the last Manchester United player to win the Ballon d'Or and score over 40 goals. So he didn't achieve that at Juventus. But go ahead.
No, yeah, I'm just saying that he became the world superstar that he is in Madrid and Juventus. He started his career, definitely started that path in United, but he cemented it in Madrid and in Juve. I don't think for a second that like Ronaldo is doing anything that he's doing right now out of any concern for United. I think he is just a petulant person who is disappointed that he's not getting as much playing time as he would like. And I think he's being advised wrongly. I think he's surrounded by yes men who are giving him very bad advice. I think as of right now, it's not only, I think he has just like spoiled his name generally. I think the Portuguese camp is going to be toxic this World Cup. And I think they're going to have a successful World Cup. I don't think Ronaldo is going to be able to go anywhere. He might have to either swallow his tongue and go to Saudi Arabia or America, or he's going to spend the rest of his time in United playing for the reserves.
Fascinating. Somebody said, you know what? And I've also noticed, like, so the people who are really, just to give the two sides and to basically go on what Sean is saying, is that somebody said, look, at Spurs was our best performance in a really long time. So I think you're almost over a decade. That was the best 90 minutes at a game at Old Trafford that I saw, where Man United dominated, like large part of that game. 70 odd minutes of that game, Man United was, it's only one winner. Man United dominated. Other than the first 15-10 minutes was like it was end to end, and Spurs could have scored as well. But other than that, it was the rest of it. Man United was so dominant. What does he do? He walks down the tunnel, makes it all about him, so that he takes away the fact that he wasn't on the pitch, and Man United put in the best performance of the season, best performance nearly in a decade, and then he walks down the tunnel, makes it about him. There we go. We get a last-minute winner. 18-year-old Garnacho scores a winner in a tough game, last game before. You know, it always have to be us, innit? Why is it always us? We are the last game in the Premier League before there is the World Cup break. Garnacho, injury time. He scores a goal that resembles Cristiano Ronaldo in terms of the way he picked up the ball. Ronaldo did it individually. You know what I mean? I think it was in 2007, I think it might have been. And bangs it, winner, and then we go on to win the league. So he then to take it away, because all of the press, all the radios, all of us would have been talking about, is Garnacho the real deal? But instead, we're talking about Ronaldo. So when you say it's all about himself, Sean, 100% I agree there. I agree.
No,
I think, just on the whole, to kick back what you were saying, is that the memories for me, the goals, when he first came, me and Mundo remember, and Richard, big up Richard as well, we used to defend him. People used to take the mick out of him and go, look what's his blonde streaks, look at his crooked teeth, what is his step overs, he can't even play football, he's a one-trick pony. And we're like, no, this kid's going to be the best player in the world. We were saying that as teenagers. We were teenagers and we were saying that. We were like, we could see this guy was going to be the best player in the world. So for me, it doesn't diminish it, because it actually, how many players have we all said that about? We've seen them and we said, wow, this special player. But then they go on then to fulfill everything, tick every box. You know what
Look,
I mean?
I guess the question is, what does legacy mean?
Ronaldo has won everything other than the World Cup. That is incredible. That's it.
No.
And he's got over 800 goals. Nobody else has.
Nobody's taking that away from him. But if you're asking me as a United fan, what does a player's legacy mean to me? It means that, like, now when I think of the player, do I have positive memories associated with that player? For Ronaldo, up until a week ago, the answer was yes. Now he has ruined the memory I have of him. That's what I'm saying. That he still has the stats that he has. Stats can't go anywhere. Nothing can be done about that. But if I'm thinking of positive influences, positive United players, positive memories, positive legacies, I don't think Ronaldo, for me, I'm sorry, he just doesn't. His legacy right now has been ruined as far as I'm concerned.
Can I stay with you to ask you one more question? Do you remember him, or were you too young? Do you remember
No,
for the first time?
as in, so I had the benefit. I'm 30 years old now, so I had the benefit of seeing Ronaldo in his prime. Like, so I saw Ronaldo when he first came to United. I remember against Everton, cutback shot, the peak. I cried too in Champions League final when he missed the penalty. I was crying with Ronaldo. We were there. I was sad to see him go to Madrid and all of that. But what I'm saying that right now, fans, like the Eli person who was talking about the Glazers, Ronaldo does not give a damn about the Glazers. He did not care when they were paying him £500,000 every week. He doesn't give a damn. He did not care. He did not care last season when he was playing all the games when he was playing every single game. He didn't come out to tell you anything. The only reason why Ronaldo is doing this right now is because he thinks he deserves more playing time than he's currently getting. Period.
100%. Big up Logan and talking about Manchester United and the culture of Manchester United. I mean, here we go. Playing performance. This is just a quote from Woolwood apart. Playing performance doesn't really have a meaningful impact on what we can do on the commercial side of the business. And there we go. So to me though, he didn't have to say anything about the Glazers. But the fact that he did say it, to me, gives me, because I'm a Glazer out, and it gives me that now the world knows. The people who didn't know before, who are just Ronaldo people who don't know really, who don't want to get into what goes on in a football club, now know that he's damning in some sense. But I'll come back to you, Mundo.
Yeah, but Nuruddin, he could have carefully calculated that to say, this is what I'll say to get the fans on side. I'll call out the Glazers.
Of course.
Yeah, come on.
To me, Irfan, I'll take it though. I'll take it because what he's saying is the truth.
No, I'll take it too. I'll take it.
I'll take it, right? But
what is he saying though? What is he saying? Is he saying anything new? And number two, is that the thing that's getting the most traction? This Glazers talk, only a small portion of United fans are taking it. The things that are making the most airwaves are his comments about Ten Hag, his comments about Wayne Rooney, his comments about Gary Neville. This Glazers stuff is not scratching the surface.
Yeah, but you don't know that. Nobody knows that yet. Nobody knows that what people have taken in. Nobody knows that yet. You know, it's all chit chat.
No, I've got a theory. I've got a theory, right?
Hold on 1 second. Listen, 1 second. I'm going to come to you. You can give us your theory as well. Yeah. Sean has just perfectly, guys. There's over 200. There was 215 of you. And please smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Hit that notification button. It lets you know we're live. And tomorrow night, people, we are doing a watch along. We are doing a watch along to Ronaldo interview because I want to be reacting to it with you guys, or we want to be reacting to it with you guys while it's live. Because what are we getting is snippets, and whether we like it or not, Piers Morgan is an absolute disgusting human being. The Sun newspaper is a disgusting newspaper, and all of them to me can go to hell. And the fact that Ronaldo, to me, it shows me what kind of human being is. He went to them of all people, went to them. But you know what? Stay with you, Mundo. I'll ask you this question: has Ronaldo really shown like the pettiness that he has, part of his personality, where he literally calls out that his teammates that he won some of these big trophies with, his captain, former captain, the guy that when Ronaldo first came was protecting him, Gary Neville. There's a famous first interview Ronaldo ever gave to British television where Gary Neville has got him there because Ronaldo's man of the match, and he's like telling him and he's protecting him and he's guiding him. He's so protective over him. And to be fair, everything he's ever said about Ronaldo, other than to say majority of Manchester United fans and him as a United fan would not have had Ronaldo in the team because he's not performing at the highest level at this moment. That's all he said. And after that, he to me, the most pathetic thing to do, didn't shake the man's hand. There's certain level of respect. Like, off camera, you can go and say, you are being hard on me. But how petty is Ronaldo? But go with your theory first, and I want to hear the pettiness. Because that, to me, is like, you don't really see that. You don't see that. Like, people have to have, to me, I just think you have to have a thick skin. Like, are you kidding me?
So the theory is around the Glazers because I think they've now had sight of that full interview, right? Because it's not lost on me that all of a sudden we're being linked with Harry Kane, we're being linked with Kylian Mbappe.
Let me stop you there. Let me stop you there. Let me stop you there. First of all, Kylian Mbappe is never coming to Man United.
Never in a million years.
Harry Kane never coming to Manchester United. First, what was the other player? Usman. They ain't never coming to Man United. Do you know why? Do you know why they're not coming to Man United? Because they know they want to go to clubs where they're going to realistically want to win the big trophies. Man United are no position at this moment in time to challenge or win those big trophies. All that is, guys, is the hard work of Neil Ashton, literally typing that up, dashing it about how to change the narrative. Because you see, I was waiting. We'll do we'll talk about it tomorrow in greater length, right? Because tonight we talked about as he tainted or ruined, right? But Neil Ashton was like, how can I get the pressure? Because I don't know whether you are, I don't know where you're in America, but in the UK, they're talking about the Glazers. Every show that's been covering Ronaldo is mentioning the Glazer, the fact that what he said about the Glazer and about the facilities. So, Mundo, we already know that's Neil Ashton at work, but go ahead.
Yeah, so that's how I think that he might go in harder on the Glazers than what's been released so far, because but what frustrates me is how gullible do they think we are as a fan base, that we're going to swallow that we're going to believe that the Man United fans are genuinely going to believe we've got a chance of getting Kylian Mbappe or Harry Kane. I mean, you just couldn't make it up. They're absolutely.
How do we know that stuff came from the Glazers, though?
What's that? Sorry, Sean?
How do we know it came from the Glazers?
Because they've employed, the banker that they put in charge employed a guy called Neil Ashton, who is a consultant PR specialist. A guy that used to be on British television. He used to do one of the big shows on the Sunday. It was called the Sunday Supplement. His name is Neil Ashton. And
I know who Neil Ashton is. Well, you know my stance. I think you guys give the Glazers a lot more credit than they deserve in terms of their machinations.
No. It's very calculated.
My view is that don't ascribe evil or genius to what can be explained by incompetence. I think the Glazers' failures can be simply explained by incompetence. I don't think there are some Machiavellian, geniuses. Mbappe has been angling for a move for a while. I think the moment any big team currently in the world right now has issues with a striker, I think Mbappe's name comes up. I think Harry Kane's name come up because their agents are also invested in pushing them as options for many clubs. So I think the same thing goes for Osimhen as well.
But
it's the timing, Sean. It's the timing.
That bit I agree with. But I don't know. Have you ever lived in Britain? Do you know how the British media works?
I know how British media works. I'm Nigerian, so obviously, a significant part of my culture is influenced by the UK, given that they are colonizers. I just don't see the Glazers as this Machiavellian force.
No. You know why?
Geniuses. I think they're largely incompetent.
Do you know why I respectfully disagree? 3 years incompetent, 4 years incompetent, 5 years incompetent, 6 years you're stretching it incompetent, 10 years of incompetence, no chance.
Nuruddin, you don't get to own one of the biggest sporting brands in the world if you don't understand Machiavellian behavior. You don't get to own it. You don't. Their dad knew every trick under the sun to get this. We're being very naive if we don't think these guys are deeply devious and Machiavellian people. Of course they are. You don't maintain something that the public loves, something that's got regional sort of traction, as in people in the vicinity love it. Because, let's face it, England's always been about its small football clubs. That's part of the community. That's the aspect that's missing. But that's how England exists. And the fact that these guys waited and waited. Look how they got a hold of Tampa. Look how they bought the club. They're classic vultures. They know every little trick under the sun. But what it is they also know that people will not see them what they are. They'll also understand that some people are so naive to think, oh no, it's just incompetence, it's something else. Is it hell incompetence? Like Nuruddin says, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 years. Are you crazy? No one's incompetent for that long, right? They know what they're doing.
Coming back on this point. Every time there is heat on the this is why we know it's calculated, because every time there is heat on the Glazers, we get something in the British media about Man United getting a dark sporting director, or Man United being linked with this superstar footballer, or about Man United getting investment for the stadium, or about Man United getting investment for. I'm still waiting for the sporting director. I'm still waiting for the new stadium. I'm still waiting for the new facilities. They've been saying this for years. So every time heat is on them, you get this coming out in the press. So this is absolutely, there's a body of evidence to say every time the Glazers feel the heat, there's some kind of good news coming out. So all this Kylian Mbappe stuff, because now they're saying they're going for him in January. There's all of a sudden, they've got £150 million to go and buy Kylian Mbappe. That has come from the club. Because even
but which is it now? And you guys know how I feel about this whole Glazers conversation. I don't want us to get too deep into the weeds on this, but which is it? Are they Machiavellian or they're stupid? Because they are putting out an unbelievable report, supposedly in their Machiavellian genius, putting out a report that is so incredulous that nobody will believe it. So I think so which is it? Are they stupid or are they evil geniuses? Essentially. But like
Let
that's
me
It's probably a combination of both. It's probably they try to be Machiavellian, but they're not very good at it. That's the reality. They're trying to pull the wool over our eyes. They're trying to take the heat off themselves, but they're not very good at it, because how long have they been saying they're going to get a director of football for? I think even before they appointed Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So it's been 4 years, 5 years. They've been saying we're going to get a director of football, and here we are without a proper director of football. They just made John Murtaugh some random job title that's not even. I think it's football director, or I don't know.
Yeah, football director.
Yeah, some bullshit, right? Which means nothing.
Sorry, but I'll let you jump in, but like I just want to say that I think this stuff is a distraction that Ronaldo just threw in a red herring that Ronaldo threw in his comments to get everybody upset. Like I said before, Ronaldo doesn't care about the Glazers. Like this conversation.
No, we agree, because he was happy to take their money, 100%. He was happy to be there. He's happy to come back, and his answer was very telling. We agree with that. But for me, the biggest thing what I see from this is like exactly what we've been saying. Ronaldo's time at Man United is done. Ronaldo wasn't top dog. And I'll come back to you, Bumbaye.
I think, brother, just to push back on a couple of things. I think, firstly, I think, did Ronaldo win a Ballon d'Or playing for Man United?
Yes.
And that is basically. So my man made his name. Yeah. So I think, to push back a little bit on what Sean's saying, I think Manchester United, his time here to earn a Ballon d'Or and get yourself the world record transfer fee to Real Madrid is a commentary in itself. So I wouldn't say that Manchester United, he wasn't already something special. He was. But we got a different version of him. He was young, he was raw. He became a more efficient goal-scoring machine at Madrid, which is what great players do. I think they develop. So
he became this Ronaldo in Madrid.
Sorry?
He became this Ronaldo in Madrid.
But what I'm saying to you, Ronaldo made himself. He was a phenomenal player in Manchester United to win a Ballon d'Or and to earn that 80 million move to Madrid. We got a raw version. He left us, I think, at 24.
I think you both agree.
Yeah, we both agree.
So it's more than a stepping stone. It was the beginning of his greatness. Started in United, and he makes the progression.
I think he won 8 trophies. I mean, he was part of a fantastic.
Yeah, man.
8 trophies.
The guy is regarded. It's hard to argue against. He is the best player to play in England. There is an argument for that. The second thing I'd say is, with regards to the Glazers, I don't think words like Machiavellian and that are coming into my mind. I think the problem with the Glazers is, like most owners, this is a business enterprise that has a bottom line, which is important. But unfortunately, throughout the Glazers' tenure, the commercial aspect of football has trumped the footballing side quite significantly. They need to concentrate and, realign that ratio at least a little bit and start to focus more on the pitch and do what's best for the football, not just the commerce. So I think this is the problem that we're having with the Glazers. And if they start to genuinely address that, they will still be commercially viable, but I think they have gone way too much in the opposite direction. And the final thing I'd say...
Sorry, go ahead.
The final thing I'd say, I think it's fair for example, Sean to have that opinion that Ronnie's ruined the whole thing for him. End of the day, every individual will be affected by different ways. I think it's also fair we need to actually watch it to see the context, the tone, the facial expression with which things are said. I think that is important. But one of the issues that we're having, I think, that is polarizing both sides is some are questioning the sincerity and whether there's any genuine care for what Ronaldo is saying in certain segments of the interview. whether he's just saying it simply to appease fans and get them on side, or whether he genuinely has severed all ties and is really letting everything he feels out. I think that there is what's in question, the sincerity and whether he does actually care about something called Manchester United. The contrary opinion is that he has no love for anybody but himself. He doesn't care at all. And he's just saying that to maybe get people on side. Unfortunately, what a man's intentions are in his heart, we can't know. But I do think it's fair for people to feel both ways. But there are many that are happy that he's come out and brought them into disrepute, because he is repeating what many fans have felt for a long time about the facilities, about the lack of investment in the actual structure and infrastructure of the club, and in the mismanagement of how much money we've spent and how paltry the football in return has been, so long as they are reaping a significant dividend for their family annually. So I think this is where the discontent lies. And the fact that he comes and addresses that, irrespective of sincerity, is a good thing in a certain way. That's,
But again,
I think, where I am with it.
He's not actually addressing anything. I think people who are harping on this Glazer stuff are doing so because they want to still like Ronaldo while also disliking him for the thing that he said at the same time. Let me just because like I think.
Oh,
I don't know what happened there.
Just come back in there in a second. One thing I disagree on though is this idea that he doesn't love the club. I still believe he loves the club. I don't believe he doesn't love the club.
I don't think Ronaldo loves any club fan. I think Ronaldo comes first. Ronaldo's second. Ronaldo.
Yeah, no. I agree. But I still think he's got some feeling towards Man United. Of course, you have. Yes.
Irfan, this is why we disagree. I remember Ronaldo using Manchester United as a way to get more money being paid to him than Messi. Yeah. So when a time when it was contract, and then Ramos started doing it.
No, that's called greed. That's called greed. That's greed. It's called greed. No,
so you would use Manchester United's name when it suited him to get more money out of Real Madrid. But when he didn't, he'd be like, "Oh, you know what? That was the history. I enjoyed their time there." But
wait a second. Did Rooney do that? Didn't Rooney do that?
No, Rooney wanted to go. I actually agree with Rooney. I know it's a bit controversial. I agree with Rooney.
He did it with Chelsea.
Because the Glazers were not buying nobody. I didn't want Rooney to go to City, but Rooney was saying, Man United are not making signings and we're losing top players. And I'm not going to be here. I want to win. I want to win big trophies. I want to go back to Champions League finals. So that's what he was saying.
Rooney. But you know what Rooney was also doing? He was also sweating and putting his blood every day on the pitch for us. He was also playing with his teammates. 100%. He was also being a role model. I also wanted to push back on Zayn Miasi as well. I don't think we could do a better job of sabotaging Arsenal's season, quite honestly, than selling Ronaldo to them. Anyone, please.
They take him, please.
Please take Ronaldo.
Arteta wouldn't play him anyway. He's too clever.
We can't do a better job of sabotaging anybody else's season than selling Ronaldo. This is why I keep insisting that Ronaldo is clearly at this stage in his career quite delusional. I think he's surrounded himself with people like Piers Morgan, people like Graham Souness, who are telling him all the wrong things. Because as it is like this, no manager wants Ronaldo. The moment Ronaldo comes to your team, you cease being a team to becoming the Ronaldo show. So about your manager, is a manager playing Ronaldo? Are you starting Ronaldo? Are you using Ronaldo in the right position? Are you creating the right formation to play with Ronaldo? Every single teammate, are you passing to Ronaldo? Are you getting the best out of Ronaldo? That is all it's going to become. I actually think there's part of Ronaldo that thinks that he can bully United, that he can bully Ten Hag and bully United into still keeping him around, because clearly, like I'm saying, he's a little delusional. Like there's something wrong somewhere upstairs with him. I think at this stage of his career,
I think he's the believer, and I agree with you, Sean. That I think when you become to that level, you have that amount of money. You've only got yes people around you. You have nobody that gives you the reality. Nobody gives you the reality. You only have yes people. But let me just get this. Say Miasi says, big up Say Miasi, by the way. We're gonna make that documentary, people. It's gonna be a Netflix. I've already spoken to Netflix. I'm gonna present it, produce it. Trust me, we're gonna find out who the real Say Miasi is. We're gonna be it's somewhere in London, but we're gonna find him. because the
I think
streets
we've
want
seen
to
him now
know
before.
what Hussein Yassi, right? Ronaldo. So Hussein Yassi says, Ronaldo, come and join Arteta Revolution. We were meant to sign you before you first joined United anyway. That's a fact, by the way. That's a fact.
I wish.
Who's on top of the league? Arsenal on top of the league. 5 points clear, Zane. 5 points clear. 14 games gone. But like I always say to you, Zane, a league title is a marathon and not a sprint. So don't you get too giddy, lad. But honestly, all of us will put it together. Literally, we'll do a GoFundMe to get Ronaldo to Arsenal tomorrow if we could. We would do that.
Please.
You were saying, Irfan?
Yeah, of course.
Saying, Irfan, go ahead.
I mean, look, like I said, you know, the opinion on this whole matter is so varied and wide. I mean, we don't agree on everything. Look at the comments. Look at all the Twitter feed. Look at how it is on social media. Look how it is on the public, in the media. No one agrees on it because everybody sees it on principle in lots of different ways. I genuinely believe the guy still loves the club. I believe this is I just had to do this to get out of the club. I don't believe that he doesn't love the club. That's my honest opinion. I don't believe it. I just think he did this to, you know, like I said, just to piss off people, but to get out of the club. And like I said to you, in 6 months' time, people will forget about this shit. They'll just remember his goals. They won't remember this.
Can I ask everyone a question? Here's a genuine question, right? Putting all the emotion aside, everything said about Glazers or whatever. Do United have a better chance of achieving their aims, i.e. top 4 and winning a trophy, with or without Ronaldo? I think we have a better chance without.
Of course, but that's the easy answer. That's easy. Of course, without.
So then we move on. You know.
No, we have to move on, but we're trying to ascertain why he did it the way he did it. And let's be honest, I don't think he did it on his own. I think Mendes and his PR people would have talked to him and said, "This is what you're going to do." He already had Piers Morgan lined up because he did interview him before. It was all nicely managed. It's just controversial because he went on with people he didn't think he'd go on, like Ten Hag. You know, he went against people like he's mentioned Gary Neville and people like that. He didn't need to go against those guys.
Well, that's the question I want to ask you guys.
But wait a second, can I just say before we even get into that, the question that we were going to get into, which you didn't ask, did anybody believe really Ronaldo was going to go from Man United level Ronaldo to Real Madrid Ronaldo? Did you actually believe that was going to happen?
What you mean when he came back? I can tell you, I said this.
No, when he went to Real Madrid and became a machine, did you think that was going to happen?
Yeah.
I said no. I didn't think that he would sustain it, but I said Ronaldo would be the best player in the world. I did say that. I said that Ronaldo, when we were kids, I said Ronaldo, and this is in the first 3 months of him. And when we watched that preseason game, we were like, I think, and this is what everybody was laughing at him. The guy used to go to KFC. My friends used to manage KFC. Yeah. Him and Jumbe used to get like 20 chicken wings a bucket on a Saturday night walking around Manchester. People forget that we know Ronaldo walking around the streets with a KFC bucket eating chicken, bro. That's what we remember. The streets don't forget. So when he was doing that and people were saying, he's just a step over Mergent, I was like, this guy's going to be the best player in the world. For him to achieve it was...
No one could have seen 50 goals a season for 3.
Listen, yeah, there are two.
I don't think anyone could have seen that coming.
There are two predictions that I made as a teenager. Two. I said when R9 Brazilian Ronaldo went to Italy, they're gonna break him. He's not gonna be the great player in a way. He should have stayed in Spain or come to the Premier League. And I was right about that because in Italy he had some of the worst injuries he's ever had in his career, which tainted his career. And I said Ronaldo was going to be one of the best players in the world. And he played. Big up, Tom, by the way. We're missing you on the stream tonight, Tom. I hope you're good. Love and light. You're parking up. Somebody's parking up. Listen, Mumbai. Do you think how petty is Ronaldo when he's coming out attacking Wayne Rooney? Wayne Rooney just said it must be difficult for him. And he's talking about how Wayne Rooney looks and becoming all vain and stuff like that. It's weird. Really weird.
I saw that quote. It's not as bad as it sounds. It's not a personal thing of what it looks like. That's not as bad as it comes out. It wasn't fat idiot. He wasn't nerding. He wasn't. Come on. He was.
I think.
No. He said Rudy might be jealous of him.
Yeah, but that was said. That was jest. That wasn't serious. That wasn't serious, man. I saw it. I saw that.
I don't know.
Do you know when you watch?
No. Hold on a minute, guys. Hold on a minute. when he literally understands when before the game, the warm up, he literally avoids Carragher. I'm
Gary
like,
Neville.
even
Yeah,
Carragher
Carragher.
kicks you. You're in front of the world's cameras. Just shake his hand and be done with him. And then he snubs Gary Neville. Nah, mate. You
No,
guys
but
are like
Nuruddin,
Ton and Jig.
that's how you know that there is not one single altruistic motive here. That's how you know, because Ronaldo is extremely petty. If you like him, if you praise him, you're his friend. It's really that simple. If you praise him, you're his friend. If you criticize him, you're his enemy. Jose Mourinho said it in the lead up to the last Euro. He said, just don't say a bad word about Ronaldo. That is it. If you like him, you're his friend. If you criticize him, you're not his friend. So even if Rooney was saying something good or true, as far as Ronaldo is concerned, Rooney is now his enemy because Rooney dared to criticize him. And even if he said it tongue in cheek, you can't throw rocks and then hide your hand and then pretend like, oh, I'm just joking. Haha, I'm just joking. You're fat. There's no joke there. He was insulting Rooney because he felt petty that Rooney dared to criticize him. There's not coming back. There's not coming back to me personally from that. All the guys who are riding this.
Listen, and for people, Sean, 100% agree. For people who are saying that, for people that are saying that the Ronaldo stuff, him coming out of the Glazers, didn't do something for the PR part of the club. It was reported in a local newspaper. Manchester United delete Black Friday post minutes after Cristiano Ronaldo marketing club claim. I posted that on Twitter, by the way. But seriously, Mumbai, is he that petty? And can one human being be that petty? These are guys that he won. Gary Neville is somebody who protected him.
There is every man for himself, on the end of the day. I think the most important thing is that it's Manchester United. Ronaldo, God willing, he will go. I hope he gets to move somewhere that he's happy and he likes, and Erik ten Hag doesn't have to deal with this anymore, because for it to continue for the rest of the season, I don't think would be good. So it's good that he's come out and he's effectively just severed all ties. There is no way back. I can't see one. And for him to actually do that suggests to me that something was seriously wrong. And this has been a build-up for a while, because he's had discontent with a lot of people, from Ten Hag to Ranić to Gary Neville to Rooney criticizing him, to the Glazers, to the guys, a couple of the CEOs, whatever. And it seems like it started, and I don't know if everyone was aware, like in pre-season, they were not sympathetic.
Sorry to interrupt, but you missed out something. You missed out one crucial part of what you said, and that's himself. That's himself. He doesn't like himself at the moment because he can't do it.
Zero accountability.
Trust me on that one. No, but I don't.
Sure. I mean, what I'm saying is, he's not perfect, and depending on how you see it, has he ruined it for you? Has he not ruined it for you? It's. I think both are fair. It just depends on how severe this has affected your memory of him.
My question for you, Bumbaye, is what do you think the issue is here exactly? What do you think Ronaldo's problem is that he's complaining about?
Well, to be honest with you, Sean, it seems being a Manchester United supporter, everything is retrospect for the last 10 years, whether it's a manager, whether it's a player. And we seem to have to do a post-mortem to really understand what was the nature of the problem before. That's how I have found United. And that's been my rhetoric ever since. The fact that I'm always a little bit lost with this club is frustrating, because I want to know exactly what the problem is so that I can actually address the problem. I think with Ronaldo...
Okay, let me put forward a thesis for you, and you tell me if you disagree. I think Ronaldo's problem is that he thinks he deserves more playing time than he's getting. Do you disagree?
I think that is part of it, not the only thing, Sean. I think so.
I think that is it. 1 to 10, full stop. I think that is the only reason why we're here. Ronaldo thinks he should be playing more than he's currently playing. Everything else is because why did he mention Rangnick? He took Ragnick benching him as a personal insult. Do you remember that match when Ragnick took him off early? And then Ronaldo was throwing a tantrum, and Ragnick had to be going to whisper in his ear. He took it personally, remembered it, and brought it up. That's all that's happening here.
No, I think there's a lot more to it in terms of off the pitch. I was explaining to the guys a theory that Ronaldo came in Ole's tenure. Whether Ole wanted him or not, I don't know. And the Glazers have really done a nice business off of the back of the presence of Ronaldo commercially. But now we have a manager for the first time in a long time that everybody seems to think is the answer. We see ourselves improving, and Ronaldo is not part of that improvement. So I think Ronaldo may have been caught in the transition and is now in the crossfire where he's looking to his employer to say, what's going on? What's happening here? And they're saying,
in fairness, he was always going to be caught in that transition, always, because everyone knows
always going to end this way. It was always going to end this way.
This was always going to happen.
Last season was last season, but it was a good season for him, considering how bad the team was. He did his job.
I think Ronaldo a few times.
I think the fact that it's happened now and he sees himself, right, I'm not part of this plans, but the team is doing well without me. Ten Hag is showing that I am dispensable. It is a problem for him. So on that basis, I think that is certainly prompted him to think, well, there's nothing for me here. Ronaldo sees I want to finish my legacy and I want to go and play. I don't have time for rebuilds and coming on a sub for 2 minutes, and he will take it.
Nobody wants him. Bayern Munich doesn't want him. Real Madrid
Sean. If nobody wants him, that's fine. But what he's done there, one thing that I think you have to agree with, is that Ronaldo understands exactly the consequences of the severity of what he has said, not only about everybody that's not currently associated with the club, but the current manager, the current employer.
I don't think so. I don't think Ronaldo has ever faced consequences in his life or anything. I don't think he has
Sean, he understands there's no way back. He severed it by doing this interview.
No, I don't think so. I think he thinks he can bully Erik ten Hag and bully the United squad based on his 500 million Instagram subscribers.
Well, look, he might have been able to if he didn't do the interview and continued in that endeavor. Do you think there's a way for Ronaldo to ever play for us again?
Personally, I don't think so.
Oh, no.
That's my point. He severed it. So whether somebody wants him or doesn't want him, you don't leave your job if you don't have another one lined up. So that's his business. That's irrelevant here. But what he's done there,
he hasn't left his job. He's still contracted to Manchester United.
You know what I mean?
Barring any surprises, he will come back as a squad player for us. When there are people like Grim Souness, Piers Morgan, people like McGorbish, people all over the internet making claims that Ronaldo has a point here and there. Ronaldo has this. Clearly, he thinks that there are people on his side who would back him in this fight against the Ten Hag and the squad, because all he's asking for is for more playing time. The moment he gets more playing time.
Well, no, it's not that. It's not only that, Sean. There's much more to it. I don't think so.
He's done. He's not coming back. He thinks that.
Yeah, and he knows it.
Yeah, and you know what?
All right, but how would you boys listen? How would you boys feel if Ten Hag brings him back and starts playing him?
Nah, no chance.
No, that'll be disgraceful.
How would you feel about Ten Hag?
How did you feel when Ten Hag made him the captain against?
Ten Hag would have to what?
How did you feel when Ten Hag made Ronaldo captain after what he did against Tottenham? Ten Hag would have to.
We did a podcast on that. I'm the type that he was petulant. It wasn't good. He punished him. He brought him back. Better to make a friend of him than an enemy. Hopefully he comes back.
Got no options.
Because to me, don't forget. To me, we need bodies in there. Let's say Ronaldo now he goes, which he's gone, and we don't get a striker.
We need a striker.
This season is still not even halfway through.
Listen. I've said this before. I'd rather give someone in the youth team a run or play someone out of position than keep somebody because he's not having an impact. His impact is negative.
No.
Wait a second. Wait a second. We're overcomplicating it because the starting point of this discussion is the guy has come to his end of his career. That's the starting point. I don't understand why you're complicating it. That is the starting point. Everybody can see that he's coming to the end. But it's all playing.
I'll add. Let me just add. Big up Windy Grant. Ronaldo is a narcissist, and the thing about narcissists is that they're stunted development growth. So it's not surprising that he sees it all about himself, and it's true. And by the way, breaking news on this one as well. Big up Lilas. He said breaking news: Phil Jones tomorrow interview calling Fat Shaw and slap it out.
Now that is an interview I would pay to see. But the point we're making is that if Ronaldo is available and fit for Manchester United this season, right, him in the team is a detriment. I'd rather have Rashford at 9 or Martial at 9 or someone who doesn't even play 9 playing 9 than Ronaldo, because I think I've mentioned this stat before. With him in the team, we failed to score more than a single goal.
Yes. So you're just making the same remark. I said he has come to the end of his career. You can see it. You can see it. So you're only saying what I just said. And obviously,
can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? Do you think Ronaldo is willing to take a wage cut? Do you see Ronaldo taking a wage cut?
Why? Why should he?
That's the only way.
He can rinse them. They're rinsing him. He can rinse them. It's simple. It's business.
Are you saying, Sean? Are you saying that in the instance that he is pricing himself out of a move somewhere?
No, but that is literally what happened.
Nobody will take him, man. Nobody will take the guy.
No, wait, but that's what happened. All the clubs that can afford his salary don't want to buy him, and the clubs who can afford his salary, like Napoli, who might want him, don't want to have to pay any single money for him. So if United are willing to let him go for free, that's one. Two, Ronaldo might have to take a wage cut. He makes £500,000 a week. How many clubs in this world do you think can pay that salary? He would have to take a compromise.
Only the Glazers. Only the Glazers, Thomas. Only the Glazers.
So who do you guys see making that compromise for Ronaldo? If you think there's another part for him outside,
I want him out.
Do you know on the issue of the money though? I think there was an offer from Saudi Arabia that was pretty ridiculous in terms of money. Like, you know, it dwarfed anything that's been given to any player in football. But he said, no, I want to continue actually playing proper football.
By the way, Saudi Arabia, while you're there, you know that at least 35% of the people who live in that country are below the poverty line. And they're willing to pay Ronaldo £1 million per game. It's ridiculous, but go ahead.
Something will have to
and the thing is, it turned that down. I think Ronnie is covered this as well. He wants out, and there might be some things that are holding back his exit. He doesn't see any point in staying there, and we don't see, a lot of us, any point in this thing dragging out. So I think it is not a bad thing. Ultimately, the result of this is we have a player that is causing a problem for the manager that could potentially disrupt what seems to be like a decent season. So if he goes, I think Ronaldo will take whatever pay cut he needs to take to go, because he just turned down like crazy money to actually go and play and stay in the picture.
I think it's a little more.
Go on.
I think something has to give. I think it's a little more complicated than that. I don't think Ronaldo has the nuance in his brain to accept a compromise. I think Ronaldo still thinks he can be playing in the Champions League while still making £500,000 a week. And he's in for a rude awakening. I think this is a very, very precarious situation that United is in right now. I think Ronaldo has made his move. The club has to react, has to call his bluff in some way or the other. I don't think a transfer is going to be that easy. I think we might see him either getting the Gareth Bale treatment.
Sean, it's over. It's over.
Yeah, I hear you.
I guarantee you, if Ronaldo comes back in that dressing room in December, Eric Ten Hag's going to walk. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you.
He might not come out of the dressing room. He might be playing with the reserves or the under-18s.
I don't think anywhere, even in the football club, Eric Ten Hag's
Yeah,
going
he's
to
gotta be
what?
gone.
Mark my words. Anywhere. He can't come anywhere near the training ground. But let me just get the super thing, and we're going to have to wrap up the show. So how many ex-players have done questionable things left under a cloud? I can name one who's in the statue at OT and still loved until this day. Legacy intact. Glazers will make sure of that. Big up, man. Big up, everybody. Listen, big up to every one of you. We didn't want it to go on this long, but it gets heated and the debate goes on. But tomorrow night, people, we'll be here. We'll be doing a watch-along about the Ronaldo situation because I want to be live reacting to it, and hopefully these guys can come back as well. But big up to every one of you. We lose or draw, Glazers out, bankers out. That's what I always say. And Tom leaves us with the last comment of the show. Mbappe ain't an option for Man United. Ivan Toney is the target. Sure. And we're not getting Ivan Toney in January for some ridiculous £70 million. That's not happening either.
He's not worth
I
70
think
million,
Man
but
United
he's a
need to
very
go and
good
get a
player.
striker. No, he's a good player, but to me,
He's a good
I don't
player.
want Ivan Toney. Listen, it'll be on another show. Ivan Toney recently declared his love for Liverpool and his dreams to play for Liverpool. I don't want him at Man United. That's me. That disqualifies you. If you're a kid, if you support Liverpool as a kid, it's different. When you are as a player now playing the Premier League, come out for your love, and you wish to play for Liverpool, you can't play for Man United. That's just me. Call me tribal, whatever. But guys, it's been a great show tonight. A lot of debate. Please, those of you who are watching this late, let us know in the comments. Has Ronaldo tainted? Has he ruined his legacy? Or is his legacy intact? I want to thank Irfan. I want to thank Ali Bumbaye, Mundo, Sean for jumping on. But make sure you give them a follow. Sean Thomas on Twitter. Let me just actually get your Twitter up. Sean Thomas, you need to change your name on there to your Twitter handle so people can have a look at it properly.
Got
also,
it, yeah.
Yeah, you should definitely go and check out the podcast. Can you let the people know about the podcast, geopolitical podcast that you and your friends do?
It's how we see things. We just dropped an episode yesterday talking about the upcoming elections in Nigeria in 2023. Before that, we talked about Kanye West and anti-Semitism, and then before that, I think we did something on Rishi Sunak and Liz Truss. So how we see things, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast from.
There you go. Big up. Irfan, you can catch Irfan Rainey on Instagram, all about the music on there. He goes live to talk about music and records sometimes. So keep an eye out for Irfan.
Yeah, that's an impressive
Instagram
collection behind him.
Wait a second, I got a record for you, Shayun. Yeah, look at this one. King Egbologa Bukno.
Oh,
yeah,
that looks like
it's a contemporary of Fella. Yep, this is a beautiful album. This one. Yep. The Black Isaiah of Africa. It's a classic Nigerian record from the 70s.
It looks like a Fela record. I can tell.
Yeah, it does. It's the same period as Fella. Same time, 1973, 74.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, there you go. You get the musical education. Catch Mundo as well. Mundo is there at Mighty Mundo on Twitter, so make sure you give him a follow. Bumbaye, you don't have to follow him. He's here. He's always here. He's always going to be here. And obviously, Irfan, you know where it is. And that guy, those of you want to follow on Twitter, that guy, Red Devil. But people, win, lose, draw. Glazers out, bankers out. Ronaldo, it's been a pleasure, my friend. Good luck to your next club. It's been a pleasure. But tomorrow, we'll be doing a watch-along because I really want to react to it in live time, reaction, when we're watching what he's saying.
I think
All right?
I've got a sneaky suspicion that Ronaldo's going to end up not far from where Sean is. So, Sean, you're going to get to watch Ronaldo live every week.
Yeah, something is going to have to give.
John,
Either he goes to America.
Have you got your LA Galaxy shirt ready?
No. Is Sporting Lisbon the most likely option?
Nah.
No, Sporting Lisbon can't afford him. LA Galaxy can.
No. He'll drop the price to go
Hollywood,
to
listen,
Sporting.
it's
He'll
coming
drop
to
his
you.
money. He's a
Yeah,
billionaire.
it's probably coming to America.
The price to go there, he will.
Listen,
I
Sean,
would say probably
maybe
Sporting
maybe
because
when he comes to Hollywood, listen, Sean, when he comes to LA, maybe you could get him on your podcast. No problem.
no. I would ask him tough questions, so he wouldn't want to come. He can only talk to Piers Morgan, people that would kiss his ass. But no, I think Sporting
Sean has. He's really hurt Sean, man. Ruined it completely for you.
I know, yes. I'm amazed. I'm surprised. I'm really surprised.
It hurt my feelings big time.
Exactly. Big up, man. Big up, man.
Tom says, big up everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody saw this coming, to be fair. We all knew the problems of ownership, so Ronaldo was only preaching what we've been teaching for years. Yeah, 100%. Big up, man. Big up. There you go, people. Take care, people. Love and light, every one of you. See you tomorrow night. See you tomorrow night. Peace. Take care. Smash a like on the video on your way out, people. Come on. It's the least you could do. Good night.